The front feet come right down from the eye, regardless of what body shape or body type they have. Their feet sit the same way. They're posed the same way. But their top lines, even though they look different, are all the same. Where the rise or the turn is should be over the center of the hip. So if you look here on this animal, you come up from the center of the hip, there's the top line, he rounds down. You look at this animal, you come to the center of the hip, that's where he starts to round down. You look at the tan, you go to the center of the hip, you look, that's where he starts to round down. That's where the top line is. So or the high point should be. So when we even talk about high point on running rabbits, or full arch rabbits, Belgian hares, Canadian petites, we're still looking for that structure. What you also notice is you don't see when we go back to those shoulders, right? So when we talk about those shoulder terminologies, that dip, the long shoulder, you won't see that in any of these top lines. See how they're very smooth? The line never breaks in the top line. That's what you want. Doesn't matter how the animal is, if his head is up off the table or not. That's what I want you to see. So that when we talk about top lines, that's what people are talking about. Or when they talk about the high point being too far forward. So most compact, commercial, semi-arch, and full arch breeds ask for the high point to be the center of the hip. Now you have the Palomino and the American that call for it to be forward of at the front of the hip. So they're going to have a little bit of a different structure. But these guys all have the correct shoulder, midsection, and depth over the hindquarter, and that's what makes them have the correct top line and high point. Now when we talk about head and ear, the comments that we give on head and ear can be kind of tricky. So we talk about a few things. We talk about substance of the ear, which is, even though this is a lop, and we're going to talk about crowns too, it correlates to any breed. Substance is how thick the ear is. Okay? So even with dwarfs, when we talk about it has a good substance of ear, it has good thickness, which is, if you put your hands between it, is it really thin and pliable, or does it have a lot of tissue to it where it's nice and thick, there's good cartilage there. When we talk about shape of the ear, we're really talking about kind of looking at the end. How round is it? Does it come to a point? Does it round like a teaspoon? And then we're also, and I didn't have a good picture of it because other than mini lops, I don't raise a super good ear breed, like one that focuses on that. So I didn't have a ton of pictures. But we're also going to talk about here, especially in lops too, though, this base at the opening. So a lot of times you'll see lops that have a crease in their ear kind of folds. Even in Polish and in Netherlands dwarfs, the ear folds in the center. It doesn't have a good openness to it. That all starts at the base, even in lops. If the crown is really narrow at the base, you're going to have a crease. If Polish or dwarfs, they have a narrow opening, you're going to have that crease throughout the ear. So that's what we're talking about here. But so those are the ear things. We talk about shape, openness, substance of ear. You'll also hear judges sometimes talk about the fur on the ear, has good fur on the ear, because some rabbits will get thin, and then you can almost like see the skin at the ear. And then they'll talk about the length as well, especially in lops. We'll talk about the length and the width or English lops, the length and the width of the ear. But the crease and the narrowness really comes from the opening of the shape of the ear. When we go into the ear or the skull, like there are breeds like the Polish, the dwarf, the lops, they all put a lot of points and emphasis on the skull. They're going to talk about a few things. They're going to talk about 3 parts of width. They're going to talk about the width of the brow, which is this part from the top, the width of the lower eye or the middle of the skull, because lops will get almost like an hourglass shape to them when they don't carry enough width here. And then they should talk about the cheek or the jowl of the animal, which really is how round is it. Now the Polish, we don't want this big, bulky, round head like we do with the dwarf or some of the lop breeds, but it still should not be snipey. You're going to hear the word snipey, which means it gets a decent amount of width here, but then it gets real narrow all the way throughout and almost makes a V shape, a V shape to the ear, or the face, excuse me. That's a snipier head. Then we'll also talk about bone, which is how thick, strong bone substance they are, how wide their bone is, and that'll play into a piece called curvature of the brow. And when we talk about the curvature, that means we're really kind of commenting some more about bone, because the curvature is from the side profile, the roundness of the head shape. So like a Netherland dwarf should be like a ball on top of a ball with the body and the head, but that head should be nice and round. So if you go back to the top line photo, you can see the curvature of the brow on this, so forehead, brow, the brow here. is important. Now in the tan, not so much. In the mini Rex, if they have good bone, they have good substance, they'll have a little bit of curvature too. So if you hear they say something about good curvature of the brow or is a very flat head or plain head, that's really what they talk about. When they talk about plain heads, they're usually talking about how flat it is, whether they consciously realize that or not. And then the jowl or the cheek region. So most, like the dwarf and the lops, not the English lop though, but we'll call for these nice big round cheeks. And that's what they're talking about. Because you don't want a big head and then a very plain cheek structure. Oh, I forgot to put some pictures in ear carriage. But ear carriage is the term we use to describe the way the ears sit on the skull. So rabbits and how the ear is carried. So like, let's look at this dwarf of Joe's. The ears, see how they sit? Like if you had a clock and you had the hands of a clock, see how these sit right straight at noon? Some rabbits, the ears will almost sit too far back on the head, like in Polish, in Netherland dwarfs, in lops, things like that. The ear sits further back on the head and they'll kind of sit at noon. Now remember, this structure, when judges should be commenting on this, the best place to look at this is when the animal is relaxed, hanging out in the coop. Because if you touch them, remember, they're animals that things fly out of the sky and eat them, right? So they're tense when we're grabbing them, and if they're tense, they're going to hold it back. The ear carriage is in their natural, relaxed state. So see how this one sits? The ear carriage as well. He doesn't, the dwarfs and Polish and things, they can keep their ears far apart. They can keep them this way, or more like a V shape when they have an openness. They can also be bowed where the ear almost has this curvature shape to it when they sit together like this, okay? But the carriage part is where we place those ears on the skull, and we want them always in the center of the skull, sitting high at noon, looking like that. Sometimes we have like Flemish and Beverns and things that ask for that slight V shape to them, okay? And then, so like, we'll talk about some lop terminology too, because I saw lots of hands on the lops. We have this part of the head, which is called the crown. And when we talk about that, even in other breeds, they'll talk about the width from front to back. So the crown, you're going to talk about the width of cartilage, because it's cartilage like your ear, right? From the front to back of the skull. Here we are talking about that opening at the base that gives us the shape of the ear. Also then at the front, the top to bottom. Because remember, rabbits are three-dimensional. Although on Facebook, and not many kids use Facebook anymore, Instagram, that's what you guys use. We look at a lot of 3D or 2D images. We're looking at the side. But we have to remember animals are a 3D structure, right? So we were talking about the side from front to back, the depth from top to bottom, because even though depth, we talked about body, depth is just the tallness of something, right? So the depth of the crown, how tall it is. And then on lops, we're going to talk about that cartilage, how we should wrap around the skull. Because sometimes the crown doesn't go all the way across, and you'll get some elevation to the ear because they have too much control, not enough cartilage. And then here we're looking at the placement. So if you hear a judge say, slipped in the crown, have you guys ever heard that? Howlin' people, do you know what that means? The crown sits on the skull. The crown doesn't have enough cartilage really from front to back, that it sits further back, pulling those ears back and causing more of an angular ear rather than an up and down straight ear. Okay? Any questions so far? I talk really fast, and sometimes I just keep rambling. Okay, am I making sense at all? You can just be like, cut it off. Okay, no? Okay, good. Okay, and then the last thing I really want to talk about is condition. Okay, so condition is one of the best things we can control as breeders, as 4-H'ers, and that is really how well we've kind of taken care of our animals in some sense. I personally believe condition is part genetics, but a lot about your animal husbandry. So you're going to hear judges talk about soft in flesh, which is like me. Like, I'm not firm in body, I'm not hard muscled, right? I'm a little soft in flesh. I'm flabbier, right? The animal is loose skinned, lacks a firm hide. Usually you will see ruffles at the base where it's just so excessively, just lots of extra skin on the animal, and he's not well muscled. So if we say this animal is well muscled, who in here shows commercial animals like Champagnes, Californians, New Zealands? No? All right. Well, any animal should be well muscled, which means the animal is firm. When I put my hands on it, like when you guys do the showmanship and you run your hands down the body of it, you should be able to feel a solid muscle base to him. You shouldn't be feeling bones. The skeletal structure of the animal is full. Okay? We're not feeling any of the vertebrae. He's well muscled. He's tight bodied. out of condition can be used for a lot of things. So if a judge says this one's just out of condition, it can mean the animal is stained, like you have urine stains on it, or you keep it in it got in wet shavings and now it's yellow at the base, or we could say it's starting to lose muscle or expose. So when we take our rabbits, we go on long trips, or we bring them here to the pavilion where somehow today it turned into 80 degrees in here, they start to lose condition. They start to get softer bodied, or their coat's starting to open it up, or we just haven't taken really great care of them, right? If they're out of condition, they're feeling kind of rough in flesh, you'll hear. This animal doesn't have enough muscle to cover the complete skeletal structure, allowing the judge to feel the vertebrae when being examined. So maybe we're not super good at keeping water in front of our animal, or we're not super good at keeping good quality feed in front of it, right? And then the standard added this chuffy word that says excessively fat or fleshed, which means it's just a really soft, too much fat on the body, overfed or overtreated. We give them too many treats in condition. So this is the biggest thing we can do to keep our animals fed, keep them healthy, keep them groomed, and then keep them in clean areas. Condition is one of the biggest things as 4-Hers. If we only have one rabbit, the biggest thing we can control is the condition of the animal. Now, if the judge is telling you, I have people say, like when I say this one's really long in body, people say, how do I fix that? On this rabbit, you can't fix long in body. In your breeding program, you can start selecting shorter bodied animals, right? But if I'm saying this one is out of condition, whatever I'm talking about, whether it's out of fur condition, out of muscle condition, those are things you could work on through a feeding and a grooming and a cleaning program to fix this part. So after the rabbit is born and has the genetics, this is the next best thing we have control of. Okay. That is kind of the gist of my PowerPoint. I don't really have anything else. Are there any slides or questions, or maybe something you've heard a judge say, and I will try to explain it? Now remember, some judges will still, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, like at their county fairs, not everybody's a licensed judge, so commenting is like one of the most nerve-wracking things. People are worried about commenting. I tell people, just talk about it. Only like 4 people are ever listening to you at any given time when you comment. So, but you'll hear people say, good head, good ear, good, they just don't have the confidence of commenting. You're not going to learn a lot about that, but you can stop and say, what do you mean about that's good about the head? Question. Go back to the shoulder slide. I will try my best. Okay, it's moving. Okay, yeah. Oh, you needed to see it. I thought you were going to ask me questions or correct me. So. Now remember, this is Brian Shirk's version of this. I'm sure there are people that will watch it online or whatever and be like, nah, that's not what that means. But this is, in my opinion, when we comment, this is what things are meaning and talking about as we talk about as judges that give comments outside of good head, fair body, blah, blah, blah. Okay, people who are giving you in-depth comments, these are kind of the terms that they're talking about. Anything else?
What about with Holland and like the low shoulder, like when Holland left, what about that with like the low shoulder or the long shoulder?
Yeah, so I don't have any photos of Hollands, I'm super sorry. But they're very similar. So when you see the Holland lop, like we can use the dwarf for example. If the dwarf has a long shoulder, you're going to see that dip. You're also going to see those longer bodied Holland lops tend to be flatter. There's not a lot of roundness. So if they have a long shoulder, they tend to slide off. They tend to get longer and lengthier. See how this one is round from the entire appearance? You should still see that with the Holland lop. As you get the more length you add into them, the less roundness you're going to get. Now you can get ones that are really so short they don't have enough to get the depth over the hip and they chop off. But more often you see longer shoulders where this part gets longer, so this part starts to get flatter, or they'll have a dip where they don't have enough depth of chest cavity, or their head's just not put on their body correctly, where they kind of hunker down. Now any breed, dwarf, Holland lop, anything that sits up, Czech Frosty, blue Hollischer, if you have to constantly maneuver it and hold its head to hold it up, it has structural problems. It doesn't have enough depth of chest. The head sits too far. Rabbits should want to naturally sit in a pose because that's how they're built. So we can maneuver a Holland lop to look really good and shorten those shoulders up by scrunching it up. But as soon as we let go, it hunkers down and falls apart. Likely, if it's continually doing that, it's because it's not comfortable, it's not built the right way. So those rabbits likely have the long shoulder, they have the lower depth of chest. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. General, the hardest things to get rid of, like body type fault. Fault. So I will say as a judge, because I only raise a few breeds, right? But as a judge, the things that I see that are the most common faults are people not getting the correct high point. Now I have my own philosophy of why we have a lot of miss high points all over. One, people are still confused because we have some people out there as they teach people say that they should be round like a basketball. That is very false. A basketball peaks in the very middle of the back, right? If you cut a basketball in half, it peaks in the middle. That rabbit lacks depth in the front and the back, okay? The other part that I think destroys the top line that people struggle with is not, I don't think a ton of people are exceptional people at being able to pose rabbits. So they're never able to evaluate the top line well and get that high point. But the next biggest thing I think that I see commonly is just poor shoulder structure. Because once the shoulder is bad, that entire top line is going to take fault in it. Because if you start the train of that rise in the wrong late, you're going to struggle the rest of the way through to get a correct midsection, roundness over the loin, things like that. So the high point, and I believe shoulder. And then just the term of balance. So balance is like this harmonious appearance, right? I think we have created a lot of good rabbits for Facebook. Like they have this beautiful top line, and then you get your hands on them, and you're like, where's the width of the animal? So they have to have that width to balance with all this depth, or they don't make a lot of sense. That's why we talk about the narrowness in the shoulder, the narrowness in the hindquarter, because everything should be really proportional and balanced. Does that answer your question? Good. Anything else? All right. You are done with me. You're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you.
And shortly, the show committee is going to be starting the introduction to the show. And then after that is concluded, then we will continue going around.
Can you do me a quick favor?
Yes.
I'm sorry to be a pain. Is there any way you can go to the first session and I can just take pictures of the slide on there?
Yeah.
Like super fast. And please be a lunch.
Yes.
Excuse me? You're fine. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Appreciate you.
Yep.
So,
Are you guys on the Rabbit Show YouTube channel now?
yes, we are. Well, I could make it.
I saw your name. You could have a rabbit. Let her run it out.
Showmanship classes have been posted on the Showman app, so you can review your class assignment on Showman app. They will also be posted on the wall outside your show office. Showmanship again this morning is oldest to youngest, so senior age division will pick a top 10 seniors, then intermediates will start, and etc. Peewees will follow the last division of competitive showmanship before we start our pre-guild showing.
there. Oh, I was like,
Oh, look, David, she didn't have a rabbit. Now she does. No, I don't see like this.
can you show her? What was that? Can you show her first?
She's not. She just bought one today. She's like, should I show it now?
That's awesome.
So I offered you guys, but it sounds like too much work.
That's funny. I think that you would do well here.
I think I need to cut a
Yeah.
Maybe what's the Play-Doh for? The answer question.
I am start my presentation next.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We're here ready to start the Green and White Wine Show. This is your first call, class 100, senior showmanship. 100, senior showmanship. If you look on the board, the digital board above the office, the number on there is the number that is in the ring. So up there you'll see 100. That's what's in the ring now. First call, last 100. Bring your face to the ring. Last call, last 100. Last 100. Bring your face to the ring. Last 100 in the ring. This is first call, last 101. First call, last 101. Bring your face to the ring. Second call, class 101, senior showmanship. Second call, class 101, senior showmanship. Bring your bigs to the ring.
You guys are getting the presentation. Yes? Okay. I want to talk. I need like 7 kids in the crowd. And so like I'm gonna make some more announcements before we get started. You want to do it too? I'm game with that. I'm game with that.
I have to learn more than
That's fine. That's fine.
101, you're going in the ring. Class 101 is going in the ring. First call, class 102. First call, class 102, bring your face to the ring.
I'll pull you up. Okay, thank you. You guys have any other friends? No, we don't have enough. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. Very consistent our Himalayan. These animals are very unique. Their body structure is supposed to have a very straight top line. They're supposed to be long, straight crevice in their body style. Very short. So you can properly evaluate their body structure. Front feet are still even.
Last call, class 102. Last call, class 102. You're going in the ring.
So this is the best way to evaluate the Himalayan's top line with the fullness throughout the body. Other purposes animals, you can create a top line on these rabbits. These animals that
You make them look like a commercial or a compact type animal, greatly distort that top line. I don't have that.
One, two, one, two, one, two.
Last call, last 102. Go in the ring. Last call, last 102. Go in the ring.
Testing one. All right, guys. Thank you for coming to the body type presentation on here for at the Rabbit School at the Michigan State 4-H show. The goal of this presentation is to show an example of what I would do at a local 4-H meeting as a leader. So you can take this back to your club after you're done. But we're going to be playing with some Play-Doh. We're going to be playing some charades. And we're going to be having fun. So first off, by raising your hand, can I get 7 volunteers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you guys want to? Or 6, 7. All right. All right, we got 6 kids and an adult. All right, I will have you come up shortly, but first, is everybody familiar with all the body types? Yes? Yes? Okay. Now, the reason I ask that is that depending at your club, you may have a variety of people that have skills and knowledge of the different body types, but there's other ones that don't. So there's a resource available called Rabbit Tutor. On the website, everything is 100% free. All of the educational materials are completely free. You can, there's a variety of different videos you can watch, along with there's online games you can play on your laptop, iPad, your phone, or there's pages that you can download and print off.
You recall back on class 100. You recall back on class 100. Bring your kick back to the ring now.
So going to the website as a leader or as a team leader in your group, you could send this out before the meeting as an option. This is the topic that we're going to cover this week. Like I said, there's the video videos they can watch, or at your meeting if you have a TV or projector, you can do what we're going to do next, which is watching that video.
That group consists of our Himalayans, and these animals are very unique in their body structure. They're supposed to have a very straight top line. They're supposed to be long, straight rabbits in their body style. So posing them is very important so you can properly evaluate their body structure. Front feet are still even with the eye. Then you want to make sure that their rear feet, that their back's extended, but also that their feet are flat and a square on the table. So this is the best way to evaluate a Himalayan's top line and width and fullness throughout the body. If you underpose these animals, you can create a top line on these rabbits. This is these animals that If you make them look like a commercial or a compact type animal, you greatly distort that top line. They don't have that nice, smooth, straight top line. If you overpose these animals where their back feet are not flat and square on the table, it makes the animal appear to have more length to their body, but it also causes a big sway throughout the back. So the back feet have to be flat and square on the table when you pose these animals. This way, lift them gently, position the front, feet to the eye. Lift up on the hips, secure those back legs to flat and square on the table. Rub your hand over the body side. The hip legs are normally very laid back down. Easy to handle. They have good leader personality. This is a natural position for them. For very little work. For long periods of time, some classes you can have 6 or 7 animals out. They just are a very easy, docile breed to work with. We have several breeds, the Jersey Woollies, the Netherland Dwarfs, several other breeds that are posed a little more upright. They have a little higher head set, but their feet placement is the same. Their front feet are still posed, even with the eyes. The front of the rear feet are still positioned.
First call, class 103, intermediate showmanship. First call, class 103, intermediate showmanship.
So I didn't give you clear enough instructions. So we're going to be doing things with these body types. So pay attention to how they're posed, how their top lines look, and then that's what we're going to be doing for the actual activities. But so we've done cylindrical, and now we're doing the upright body style. And this video is about 5 minutes long.
Yeah, so this is a properly posed dwarf. One thing, you want to make certain you don't hold their head down and pose them in what this is still tight, but you don't want to hold their head down. That's a greatly underposed dwarf. So you get under their chin, slightly lift the animal up, let the front feet rest lightly on the table. Get the animal posed so you can evaluate its side profile, width and fullness throughout the body. You can also overpose these animals and have them pose more like from the full arch breeds, where their front feet are very extended, where they're held very high in a very unnatural position, and that also changes the overall top line display. Semi-arch breed, the example we're using is the English. Animals in this group are supposed to be a little bit longer in their shoulders. We want to make certain that they're posed properly. They do show their side profile and arch from the top to hip. These animals, their body structure is not like the compact breeds or the commercial breeds. So feet placement is the same. Front feet are still even with the eye. The front of the rear foot is still positioned in front of the hip. And the side profile and body structure of this back part, and you'll carry it over the top of the hip. You can greatly distort this. If you stretch this animal too far out, this animal with longer body style, one very flat across the top of the hip. They square off over the top of the hind quarter fast. You can also overpose these animals and make them more of a commercial style or a compact style animal. That really shortens that shoulder, and from a distance makes them appear to be very tall, but they greatly distort that lower hind quarter. It makes them appear very pinched and very undercut at the base of their hind quarter. So proper posing of these mandolin type rabbits, full arch, semi-arch rabbits, is very important. Okay, so we're going to pose compact breeds. Our example today is going to be the Polish. So these animals are posed with feet placement, just like the other body type groups that we've used. The front feet are supposed to be placed even with the eye, and the front of the rear feet to be flat and square and placed at the center of the hip. This pose, you can evaluate the animal's body profile, you can evaluate the width and fullness throughout the body, animal's head shape. If you look at our commercial type groups, example is going to be a New Zealand white. These animals, the feet placement, the same as the other breeds. The front feet are positioned under the eye. The front of the rear feet is placed at the front of the hip. This allows you to properly evaluate the body structure, evaluate the turn over the top of the hip, the width and mass throughout the body. This is a properly posed New Zealand. Full arch body type. There are breeds that we pose within the full arch group. The Belgian Hare and the Britannia Petite, which we have an example of here. And when posing petites, I always use the shoulder method and go behind their shoulder to pose. I've always had the best luck getting these animals to sit much better. The petites get distracted pretty easily, so the more you're in front of their face, lifting under their jaw, they tend to be a little more excitable. So I always go behind their shoulder, gently just lift, shake their shoulder slightly. They'll relax the front leg. Front leg still even with the eye. By posing this way, you can evaluate the animal's body structure, and evaluate the animal's top line, the turn over the top of the hip. You can also evaluate the ear set. You can go in front, take a look at the head shape, the boldness of eye that the animal has. But petites, all the animals in the full arch group are a little excitable.
And so by using the website, though, you know you have people that are, like as an example, this person is an area judge and the current president of the American Rabbit Breeders Association. So they're all industry experts in a wide range of different topics. But just focusing on body types for this presentation. So now it's your turn. So the 7 volunteers, if you guys can come up. All right. All right, now, what we're going to do is we're going to do charades and pretend to be these various body types. So, everybody's going to get 1. All right. Let's see. Which one do you want? I'll let you pick.
Compact.
Compact, all right. You got compact. Which one do you want? Huh? Upright? All right, you got upright. All right, which one do you want?
Full arch.
Full arch, okay.
Semi.
All right. Okay. All right. Where do you know? So, can you pretend to be? Wait, did somebody take cylindrical? No. Did you? Which one did you take? Upright. All right. Will you pretend to be this one when we pose? Okay. Okay. You're gonna pretend to act like that rabbit. All right. I'm gonna have you do. Which one do you want to do of these? Okay. Sounds good. All right. Which one do you want to do? Here. You're gonna pose like one of those rabbits. So I'll have the bigger kids do it first, so you can see what it's like, and then you'll pretend to do one too. Okay, all right. I'll have them do it like that. Which one? Okay. All right. So over here, or across the front here, I'm gonna have you guys pose like those specific ones, and we're gonna guess them from the crowd. Okay. So in this area, we're posing, and then they're gonna guess which ones you guys are. All right. Go ahead and start posing. Pretend. Oops. Sorry. Pretend to be the pose of that animal. Go ahead. Everybody can do it. Everybody get into position in your specific body type. All right, now we're going to need some help from the crowd. All right. Will you stretch out a little more? Put your legs out farther. There you go. Yep. There we go. All right. So which one's this one right here, guys? That looks like the Himalayan, which is the cylindrical body type, right? So she's the cylindrical body type. Thank you for coming out here and doing it. Which one of these aprons would you like? Which one? All right, the pink one. All right, there you go. All right, I'm gonna have you go back to your seat. There's gonna be another activity for everybody to do here shortly. All right, let's see. Which one is this one? What do you guys think? You're doing this one? Yep. She's doing the upright.
What, are you talking to me?
I was talking to her. I know you're doing. I know that's one you're doing too. You're good. All right, so she's doing the upright body type. Great job. Which color apron would you like? The pink one. All right. Pink is popular. All right, I'm gonna give you next. Which one do you guys think she's doing? They can do the same one more than once. Not all. We didn't do all 7. Which one do you guys think she's doing? The middle one on the bottom? This one? This one. She's doing the full arch body type. See how her body's up like a full arch body, right? So you have the arch, and then there's daylight underneath. This is a fun interactive way that I feel like to get kids to remember what the different body styles are. All right, thank you for doing it. Which color apron would you like? Absolutely, go ahead. All right, let's see. Which one's next? Let's do you. All right, what do you guys think? Which one is she? She's got her hands on the ground like that. The first one. Right, see how she's doing the semi-arch body type style? Good job, thank you. All right, go ahead. Which color apron would you like? All right, pink's popular. If you still want a pink one, there are more back on the table. All right, I'm gonna come over to you, bud. What do you guys think he's doing? The cylindrical body type. Yes, great job, bud. Go ahead and you can come up here and get an apron. The purple one. All right. All right, and then we got 2 more back here. Which one do you guys think she's doing? This one? Or this one? This one? All right, see how tucked in she is? Right, that's more of an upright body style. She's more tucked up versus the one before, or a couple before that had more daylight. Yes, good job, thank you, good job. All right, which color would you like? And if you want a different color than this, you're welcome to get them in the back too. All right, thank you. All right, we got one more. Which one are you doing? Okay. Oh. You want to do a different one? All right, sounds good. All right, so now she's doing the upright body type of the knuckle and drawer. So thank you so much for participating. Which one did you like? Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so by having that fun educational videos at the beginning of the meeting or before the meeting, you can send it out to your team, your youth before the meeting, or have it during the meeting. And then doing this as an icebreaker, it's just a fun activity to do.
Congratulations to winners of the senior showmanship. First place, Olivia Jenkins. Second, Taylor Smith. Third, Shelby Howell.
Now it's everybody's turn. It's not just the people that came up here. So I'm gonna take. Would you come up here? All right. Would you grab some of these Play-Dohs, and we're going to hand it out. Every single person in the crowd is getting a thing of Play-Doh, and we're doing the same thing, but you got to build the Play-Doh into one of the body types.
Here, right now.
You guys too. Whichever one you want. Here. There we go. I got plenty. You're good. All right, once you get your Play-Doh, go ahead and open it and start making one of those body types. You can make any one of the 7. Does everybody have Play-Doh?
I'll take one.
All right. All right.
William, honey, we got one.
You got one? All right. All right. Yes. Yes, her question was, can I go back to the body type so that you have an example? Is it okay if she plays with some, or no?
Yeah.
I know. Do you want some? Absolutely. You can take it, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, as you're working, once you get done, then put it up in the air so we can see it. Did you get one too, Mom?
Oh,
There you go.
get hers up first.
Oop. I got more. We're good.
Make your little feet. Oh.
Oops, sorry.
Class 104, class 104, you're going in the ring. Class 104, going in the ring.
No, that's for I know you saw there, it's mainly in this.
I may have done this before.
Oh yeah, look what. Oh yeah.
All right, I'm starting to see a lot of these done. Awesome, awesome.
Last call, class 104, you're going in the ring. Last call, class 104, you're meeting showmanship.
Trying to draw the line. Yeah. Like all standing up.
I am seeing some awesome artwork out there. Very elaborate.
First call, class 105. First call, class 105, meeting showmanship, bring your face to the ring.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, awesome. I love that one. I love them. Those are really cool. These are really, really cool. So by having the learning, doing an activity or doing a second activity, I think it just really enforces like what those body types are. I find it a far, far, far more effective way for people that are more hands-on learners to do it this way. But kids learn different ways. So there's various icebreaker ideas to fit the needs of your group within by utilizing this resource. The Play-Doh is yours to keep. So yes, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Put them all. Everybody, put them up in the air one more time. Awesome. Oops, sorry. Sorry. All right. Very, very cool. Very cool. So there's one more thing that I also have for you guys, and that I would recommend doing at the meeting, and that is having some type of a take-home activity. So I have two examples. For the younger kids, it's just a straight coloring page of those different body types. And then as the kids are more experienced or older, there's various versions of these where you're actually having to match them up with coloring. So I have examples of, or I have ones of these to give you guys. We'll start some on this side and some on the other. As well as the just the straight color image. I'm gonna have that right behind you. You're good.
Last call, flash 105. Last call, flash 105.
This is matched, but yeah, we're gonna match them. We're gonna take one for each kid.
Sounds great.
Then I'll pass it. Yeah.
Yes. So that's how I would do an activity at your meeting. You guys can do that with any of the topics that are on that Rabbiteer website. It's unfortunate that there's a ton of great people that are wanting to be educators and to teach on that website, and that's how we're able to make it available for free. Are there any questions? All right. All right, well then, thank you guys for coming, and enjoy the show. We'll begin the next one here shortly.
Bye. Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
First call, flash 106. First call, flash 106. Bring your face in the ring.
I love it.
Like it actually has like a pod.
It's awesome. Smile. Awesome. I love it. Very cool. Thank you. Yes, thank you for coming over. See, that was fun. So we're doing one per county.
Yep.
So as long as you're good, then yes, you're good. Our goal is that we want them to hang up at the county fair, but yeah.
Last call, flash 106. Last call, flash 106. You're going in the ring. First call, class 107. First call, class 107, intermediate showmanship. Second call, class 107. Second call, class 107. Bring your face to the ring.
Gotta get taxis to call.
You're fine. Take your time.
Testing one.
Pre-filled and market classes have been posted outside the show office, and they can also be available on show.
Oh, I do have it.
First call, class 108. First call, class 108, intermediate showmanship.
need me here or over there?
I'm gonna have you here.
Yeah.
Alright, so can you put this? Actually, I'm just gonna have it sitting here, unless you think it'll kick it off. Can it go on it?
Where do you, like, it
Yep,
just clips on?
Yep, just like that, yep. Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yep, perfect. There you go. You should be good. Second one, I'll try this one again.
You want me to wear one of your snazzy aprons? Sure.
Well, I was gonna give you one. What color you want?
Pink.
You were held back in immediate showmanship to return. For me to call your class number, we are doing 2 heats for the final.
Microphone. Thank you, sir. Ow. I'm doing a microphone.
I know that wasn't that's audio.
Oh, see, this one's good.
Try talking. Like, come over this way more.
Testing, testing.
Alright, I'll have to hold it. Come on.
How many cameras do you need?
Alright, on the next session, that part is going to be how to text to a cavy. I'm sorry, how to tag a cavy. I apologize. How to tag a cavy. How to identify them. And then she's also going to be covering how to register a rabbit.
Last and final call.
Tattoo.
Tattoo a rabbit.
Last 108, we're in the ring.
Alright, coming over. Alright, so I'm going to be next to you.
Okay. We'll do tattoo first.
Alright, we're tattooing first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's holding them.
Yep.
Okay, so to tattoo rabbits, I like to use my tattoo wrap.
First call, class 109, bring your picks to the ring.
You set them in here and you strap them down really tight, make a little bunny burrito. That way they can't run away from me. Then I use the Easy Tack gun, and this is my inkwell. You have to load the pen. What do you want? Then you flip the ear inside out. You hold the pen straight up and down. Put in what they want. Use a wet wipe to wipe it off. Make sure it's in there good and clear. And when you use wet wipes, use the ones that are more water, no lanolin. I don't use the numbing spray because it affects the ink. It can affect it to where it doesn't stay in the ear.
That was fast.
That was fast.
I use a clamp, so I'm amazed at how fast you wrote.
Okay. So again, you just put them in the wrap, lock them down tight. I have 2 different size wraps, so if I had bigger animals, I could do bigger ones. Again, you load your pen. Turn the ear inside out and hold your pen out right straight up and down. Go over it twice. Wipe it out. Make sure there's no spots that you have to touch up, and you're done. Sorry. So then, to tag cavies, you need the tags and the clamps. The clamps have, or the tags have, a little hole and then a little piece that's sharp. When you look at the tags, there is a cutout bump. You want the cutout to be where the hole is. Oops. Helps if I don't take the tray off. Hold on, girl. Okay, you're going to hold your cavy firmly to your chest. You're going to take the tag and wiggle it onto the ear. You're going to make sure it's as close to the head as you can get it to show less chance of it being ripped out. These are young, so I left a little room for them to grow. And you want to make sure that it goes all the way through the ear, through the hole of the tag, and locks back down. I haven't played with these guys. I just brought them here to do this, so they're all very angry. Again, you load your tagger. Make sure the notch is lined up with the hole. Wiggle it onto the ear and put it as close to the head as you can get it and squeeze. Pretty easy.
So now, because I'm a novice on cavy tagging, each one of these has its own unique number, just like we would have in rabbits?
Yep.
Okay. And then how does one get those tags?
You can buy them. Plank Cage Supply carries them. They come in packs of 100. And I order special ones for my cavies from a lab supply store.
So that it has, like in rabbits, a lot of breeders will use a prefix and then the number. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing in the tags too, then?
Yeah, yep, you can. Some breeders put no letters in front of them, like a B or a Pam Jones had her own tags. They have a PJ on them. So
Awesome. Are there questions about rabbit tattooing or cavy tagging? Before we go to Ricky, sorry. Go ahead. When is the ideal age to tag a cavy and then the tattoo?
when you're splitting them up, because if I were to split these guys up, I have 4 other litters, all white. You're not gonna know who goes to who. So the best time to do it is when you split them up.
Is there ever a time, or let me ask you a second question, which was, when's the best time to tattoo a rabbit?
We do it when we split them up also. Yep.
On a rabbit tattoo, if it was, if it went away over time, can you re-tattoo it with the pen?
You can re-tattoo it. It has to be tattooed the same number it was. You can't change the number.
And then, similar question on cavies. Like, do those things ever come out?
Yeah, they rip out, and unfortunately, they do change numbers. So then, if they're a registered cavy, you'd have to send in, explain to them it got ripped out, and what happened, and what the new number is.
Other questions? Go ahead, Mike.
You have to set them. When you turn your pen on, it's really hard to see, but you barely want to see the needle coming out the tip. If it comes out too far, you could rip the ear.
That's why my plants go. Yeah, you can't replant, so you have to use that if you need to touch up.
I used to, when we tattooed the French laps, they were little, and they would grow, and their clamp tattoos would get bigger, and we would take the pen and connect the dots. If you don't have the needle set right, it does make it a very miserable thing to do.
I mean, watching her do it, I thought she was just writing. Like, I mean, it seriously seems as though she was just writing like a normal pen. I did it so quick. Yeah.
Well, that's why the wraps are very handy. The only time you need help is if they're too small and they start squeaking out, or if they're too big, you just have somebody put their hand over the rabbit's head, and you can still do it the same way. Well, my mom makes and sells these. They're right over there. Yep. 2 sizes.
Yes, go ahead.
This is the Easy Tap. Yep. We've used quite a few different ones, and this is the one we found and stuck with. We've been doing it for years. And this is the one we stuck with.
Go ahead.
When I go over with a pen and I reverse it, same number was correct, and I put them on the middle and the backward. So the same number.
So your question is that you have a tattoo on the rabbit, it's faded, and you put it on and you want to touch it up, but the other issue is it was flipped over. So what's the best thing to do?
So are the numbers backwards? Like you have a 1-3 instead of a 3-1? Oh, it's upside down. Yeah, you can just redo it the right way. You just can't change the order of the numbers.
And I would say to that like for 4-H and county fairs, the rules are different than like the ARBA shows. So like it's possible that an ARBA show is disqualified because there's numbers in the air. But at a 4-H show and county fair, I think it's much more lenient. So I can do that. But no, I think if you're doing it just depends on where you want to put it. Right.
So I would just go over the dots and leave it upside down. The only way they would have gotten disqualified is if they couldn't read it or if it's in the wrong ear. So if it's upside down, it's upside down.
So the question is, what's the difference between the ARBA rules and like other rules? Technically, ARBA is sanctioned by the American Navigator Association. We have distinct rules that are all consistent for all the shows that are sanctioned. A show that's not sanctioned, you can have any that they deem appropriate. But I also think that you see more grace, right, when you're working with kids and working with youth and such. So I think that also plays into the difference. What was the ARBA rule you were referring to? So the ARBA rule is that you just have to properly identify the rabbit, which we all are aware of. Right. And then it's supposed to be in the right direction, and be legible, permanent, and in the correct direction, right? So the bottoms of the ear.
I thought I heard you say no numbers, and I was like, what?
No.
All right, other questions on this, and then we'll do the registering.
I'll go grab my registrar and my forms because I.
Okay, all right. She's gonna go grab her registrar stuff and then be right back. It's just much more common that both are there. I'll check one thing and then I'll
First call, last 112. First call, last 112. Intermediate showmanship. Second call, last 112. Intermediate. Second call, last 112. Intermediate. Registration ready now.
I didn't realize they sent me membership forms with stuff.
Right. So the registering your rabbits, and Beth is going to teach about how to do that, what the process is,
how you can register or how you can bring your rabbit to be registered by a registrar and what the process is.
So the first thing is it has to have a full pedigree, and there has to be weights on every rabbit on the pedigree. The rabbit that's being registered must be senior weight. You have to be an ARBA member to register a rabbit, and your membership has to be current. So when you come to me and you want me to register a rabbit, you're going to bring me the pedigree. It's going to be completely filled out. All the animals on the pedigree have to be recognized varieties by the ARBA, and the rabbit I'm looking at has to be a recognized variety with no DQs and be senior weight. And what else?
You have high quality within the
Yeah,
breed?
yeah. They have to be showable. They have to fit the breed standards. Then I'm going to take the pedigree, I'm going to look it over, make sure it's all good. I'm going to staple it to one of my forms and weigh your rabbit, and that will be the official registered weight. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to put a tattoo, a clamp tattoo, in the opposite ear that the identification tattoo's in, and it's an R with a circle. Then I send the forms into ARBA, and they send you back a certificate.
Okay, we're doing the finals in 2 heats. Intermediate final showmanship. I'm going to be done in 2 heats. If you recall back from class 103, 104, 105, 106, or 107, bring your face to the ring now. If you recall back from class 103, 104, 105, 106, or 107, bring your face to the ring now.
What are some of the most common things that you see that somebody doesn't have done to be able, like, they come to you, they want to register their rabbit, but they can't? Like, why can't they?
So I just got my license, so I haven't officially registered a rabbit yet. But when I was working with the registrar, the most common thing is there'd be a rabbit on the pedigree without the weight.
So when you're buying rabbits, and you're getting them, and if it's something that you value and you want to have your rabbit registered, make sure that when you're getting them from the that breed, that it has those weights on there, because that is, I think, probably the most common thing that we end up having across the industry, with why somebody isn't able to finalize their registration, or isn't able to actually register their rabbits.
Right, correct. And making sure that the rabbit is DQ free and of the appropriate weight are the other two.
How many people in the crowd have registered a rabbit before? All right, there are several. Does everybody know what it means to register a rabbit? Yes? Yes? No? All right, so what is it? Why does somebody register their rabbit?
So they register their rabbit, it is logged with ARBA, and it could potentially make the offspring more valuable.
And then, as you have multiple rabbits on the pedigree that are registered, there's the first level, which is red. If you have that rabbit and the sire and dam are both registered, so those 3 rabbits on the pedigree, then that's a red registration.
Yep.
If you have the parents and then all of the grandparents registered on the pedigree, that's a red and white registration. And then if you have also the great-grandparents all registered, then that's a red, white, and blue registration. And then there's also a gold registration, which is?
Grand champions.
Which is?
Grand champion.
So all the rabbits are registered on the pedigree and their grand champions. Which is then, as a breeder or somebody that's looking for stock, they know that line consistently produces quality.
Okay, last call. You were called back. Class 103, 104, 105, 106, or 107. Bring your face to the ring now. You're going in the ring.
One other thing with why people register the rabbits is if a rabbit has 3 legs,
yep.
Then what can they do with that if they bring in the 3 legs and register a rabbit?
then they pay $4 extra and they would get a grand champion certificate along with the registration.
Somebody had those before? Yes, yes, several. All right. What other questions are there about registering rabbits? Go ahead.
You have to have at least.
Repeat the question.
So she asked the legs, when you make them a grand champion, you have to have so many juniors, so many seniors. The rule is there has to be at least one senior leg. They can be juniors, intermediates, but one has to be a senior.
110, 111, or 112. If you were called back,
Your next
class 108, 109, 110, 111, or 112, bring your picks to the ring now.
So his question is, how many generations in the pedigree do you have to go back?
You have to have great grandparents.
So great grandparents fully go back. So great. Yep, yeah, the whole thing. Yep. What other questions? Go ahead, you're next.
I am an ARBA member. I've never registered a rabbit, but I wanted one, and now I'm street. How do I get started? Like, when I have to start weighing rabbits throughout the litter before I get to the chips, and then bring it to
Yeah. Unless the person that you bought your core stock from has weights.
Your question was that if you wanted to start registering your rabbits, how would you do it if there weren't weights on the pedigree? So if the breeder didn't provide them, then you would be starting from that first generation and continue to work forward if they aren't close to
Yes.
I have all the one.
And it is one of those things, though, too, that, I mean, I think that, just ask the person when you're buying it, or it can be part of your process while you're reviewing it when you're purchasing it. Other questions? Go ahead, Joe.
I'd say the doe is yours. If you buy a bucket branded, does that count for me or no? So if you want it branded, and let's say you buy one that has 2 legs, and then when you show it, you get the third leg. Is that okay? Or do I have to start all over again?
Okay, so his question is,
They do.
so his question is, if I went out and I purchased a rabbit that has 2 legs, and then I show it, and I get a third leg on it, is it eligible for a grand champion? And the answer to that question is yes. That you would be eligible, that rabbit is eligible to be a grand champion. As long as you meet those extra things, the senior, and then it has a senior
Leg.
And as well as being more than one judge, that is. So yes. Typically when a person is selling a rabbit, if they say it has a leg on it, I would say the common norm is to provide the leg.
If you don't have the leg and you want to,
If they sold it and didn't give you the leg, you could either ask them for the leg or you'd have to start over.
So her question is that if the breeder that you bought from said they had legs, they didn't give it to you, and then you got its first leg in the example we were providing, would you be eligible for grand champion? And the answer is no.
Right.
So Arbor doesn't keep
No. So ARBA doesn't keep track of the legs. That's for the breeders to do. If you use Easy to Show, you can go back and get your legs from the other shows and print them off, but that's just in your files. Once they leave, the ARBA's not going to reprint them for you.
Okay, so it's something that when you're purchasing the rabbits, make sure you get the legs. Other questions? All right. Well, thank you, Beth, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. You can do this on that.
I have a thank you card that'll be shortly. I was gonna hook you up with the neighbor, so
Attention flying exhibitors, just wanted to remind you that, pull-in show supply is here today, but they will only be here today. They will not be here on
We will
Sunday.
be here in about
So
3 or 4
if you have
minutes.
show
We
supply,
just got to
please
transition
make
to
sure
the next
that
speaker,
you
which
step
is
up.
Rabbit Showmanship Fundamentals.
We have excuse me, we have a number of other vendors who have, are supporting our event today, so make sure you stop up in the concession, lobby area and visit the vendors. Attention in all areas of the facility. I have a vehicle that needs to be moved immediately. A white Lincoln Navigator. White Lincoln Navigator, plate number ECK 0979 needs to be moved immediately. Also, if you have parked in front of a trailer that does not belong to you, you need to move those vehicles. Folks will be hooking on and moving trailers, and those vehicles will need to be out of the way.
I saw him bring him.
All right, we're going to get started with the Showmanship fundamentals. Joining us is Matthew Johnston and Audrey Johnston. Audrey won overall Showmanship winners at the Gold Ribbon this fall at the Michigan State Fall Show, which is the night where all of the competitors from across the state that have won at their local county fair get to come compete for the best overall showman within the state. And so she won that, and so it's an honor and pleasure to be able to teach this class. She's going to go over how to do showmanship, and I'm looking forward to it.
Today we're going to be talking about basic showmanship stuff. So whenever you come up to the table, you always have your rabbit touching whichever arm you're going to be like most with the dominant arm. So if I'm right-handed, I'm going to grab my rabbit in my right hand. So that is why I put it in my left arm. So you just want to make sure everything's tucked in, everything's nice and tight. And then you're going to wait for the judge to say, go ahead and place your rabbit on the table. So when you do that, I always let the rabbit pop its head up a little bit so I'm not struggling as hard. But I take my index finger, put it in between.
First call, class 113,
and I wrap it around.
First call, class 113, junior showmanship.
Like holding the left here. So then you pick it up. Supporting the shoulder, you're not going to drop it, but you're going to want to support your shoulders when you look at it. So you pick up the front. You're going to put the butt down first. And then I go move my rabbit one way forward. I like to put my hand like this up under the rib. So I have a hold of the rib cage so I know she's not going to go anywhere. And I take my hand and I scoop the butt, pick it up far enough where the shoulder is between my hands. Turn it facing the judge. Place the butt down first, and then the front. So when I do the leg, it says to cut like you're lining the eyes up, or looking up at the eyes. So I always put my hand going along the nose, like you're actually a little bit high. So you line up the front piece with the eyes. And then, so since I did this front foot first, I'm going to do this back side next. So you do right, left, right, left. You're not going to do right, left, right. You're going to keep it the same side. Now I rest my finger and down the right leg right here. You're going to line that up. And the same thing to the right side. And then you're just going to, when they pull out the table, make sure it's straight, make sure it's not moving or anything. Send the ears, and then down the turn. And then you'll just step back, put your hands on your side, and The rabbit moves, you go pick it up, repose it. And then, once you're successful, if you're tied, so you can start to say, like, so you're picking up, you're in the same way as you're working now. So, remember red tape, you rewind, turning, setting down, wrapping your fingers around the ears or the heart, supporting the shoulders, sitting up, and then tucking the leg, and then stepping back. Then the judge will say, okay, go ahead and set your right on the table. So you're going to pick it up, again, pop it up a little, right on the ear, support the shoulders, and send the rabbit, judge. You can pick up the front, but line up. There is so many but there's an easy way to do it. So you start showmanship, you get it, you're just going to pick it out, so you start at the eye, so just look over the rabbit, don't touch his eyeball, get close enough to the face. The same thing on this side, and then flip it. So the way that you best, like picking it up and stuff, you're gonna do the same thing instead of turning it towards the left, flip. You get ground and roll. And if you're wrapping that stuff, don't worry, you're gonna pass it. Just slow and slow, you're gonna pop down. So then I take my index finger. I'm gonna go up the nose, we're looking for any, like, mucus or anything that can come down the nose or something or anything. Then I take my fingers like this, and then you want to go low enough on the rabbit's mouth to be able to pull back the teeth and get the bottom lip. So you want to be able to see top and bottom section. So when we're checking the teeth, we're looking for chipped teeth, broken teeth, occlusion, teeth cap. So you pull down, get both sets of teeth, and then just take your index finger, and you're going to go down the dewlap area where the chin is. When we're doing this, we're looking for abscess or anything that can be wrong. So then, I take my finger, thumb of my left here, pitch the foot, then up, and extend it forward. When we're doing this, that is like for any broken legs or anything like that. So you're going to do that this side too, and you're going to want to be taking your time. You're going to feel like going super slow, but you want to make sure you're going slow enough to making sure that you're looking at everything and not just skimming over it, because you could be missing something. But after we lift up the feet, we're going to check toning. So I take my thumb, push right in the middle of the paw. You see how she sticks her nails out like that? That makes it super easy to go through and count. But you're still going to want to push back the fur on each toe. And when I'm doing this step in my head, I'm counting like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, just so I know I'm spending enough time on each toe. So I'll count. And then you're not going to want to forget the dew claw. Do the same thing on this side. Just making sure that we have 5 toes on the front. Just blow on the nose. you'll be okay. Then I take my hand and I make like an L. But, so, go up underneath the arm, go down the body. We're looking for any abscess again, or tumors, anything. We're going to push out these back legs. When you're doing this, it's just like when you're pulling the front feet up on these. Instead of pulling these legs out, we push them back. And we're just looking for more broken legs. Then I take my fingers like this, I scoop up under the hop, and I just go down one. You're not going to want to go up and down or anything like that. Just make sure you do each step once. So rabbit flips back over, flips back over, hammer down a little. You're just going to pick up where you left off. So again, pushing in the foot with my thumb, counting in my head, making sure we have 4 toenails on the back. And then for this part, I like to take my middle finger, go up under the tail, hold the base of the tail with my thumb in my middle finger. Then I press to check if it's a buck or a doe, so a girl or a boy. This one's a doe. And then I leave my fingers under the tail, and I run down the tail. This way you're checking for any broken tail or anything that can be wrong. And then once I'm done checking the tail, I like to flip my finger so then my middle finger becomes on top and my index finger becomes on bottom. Because the next step, when you roll it over, is to check the tail. So then now you don't go looking for the tail, it's already there. So now, when you check the tail, you're always going to want to pull it out, up, and then step back, look at it, make sure it's straight. If the rabbit has smooth tail, the tail would be sideways. So shoulder your tail nice and good. Then you're going to come to the front of the rabbit, and I just take my hand and go like brush up the ears to make sure, because you want to see, you're checking the ear carriage. So if they have good strong ear carriage, if she had bad ear carriage, her ears would be like floppy and all over. Now we do meat, body, fur, and then you just let the fur roll back to its natural place. Then we're going to scoop the rabbit up, pick up your butt, turn towards the judge, place your feet, tail, ears, and then we'll go into the questions. And I do want to add, I'm pretty sure I skipped a step in the beginning. So when you're checking, you do the eyes.
Congratulations to the winner, intermediate children. First place, Abby Holland. Second place, Carriage, Yoho. Third, Austin Davies.
There's something down in there that might be irritating them. So then the next step is to open the ear. And then take my fingers and my
First place, Abby
look down in the ear.
Holland. Second place, Peyton Pastor.
When you look down
Third,
in the ear,
Austin
you
Davies.
can see like any mice,
Fourth,
anything that's
Tom Reed. Fifth, Casey McCash. Sixth, Cooper Sandball. Seventh, Alligator. Eighth, Bowden Billy. Ninth, Taylor Young. And tenth, Barrett Joe.
Will you repeat the question too? Did you hear it? Alright, what was the question?
Now entering the ring, our first of 3 classes of junior showmanship, class 115. First call, class 114. First call, class 114.
Her question was,
Junior showmanship.
have white or black tails?
They should be whatever the rabbit is, like the main color. So this is a with white, so they should have complete white toenails all throughout the rabbit. If you do have a black toenail, you're doing showmanship, oh, so the question was, when you're doing showmanship, should you be talking through it? No. I never talk through it. It's just not something that we do here. And when you're doing your steps, I'll go through the showmanship thoroughly again. But you're gonna want to look up at the judge, not while you're doing steps, but in between each step. So say I have the rabbit flipped over, and I just got done pulling out the feet. I'm gonna stop for a second, look at the judge, and then continue on. Because if I'm looking at the judge while I'm doing a step, you're not completely doing a step if you're looking at the judge while you're counting toenails. So it's just like a distraction. Whenever you do look at the judge, you will want to be looking at the judge. You don't have to have a serious contact with them, but just glance up and make sure you're making an eye contact. Any other questions before I go through it again fully? So we walk up to the table, everything's tucked and tidy. Then I let her pop her head up. Butt and then front. Good. And just to show you guys a little bit better, I have my six finger in between. I'm holding the rib with my fingers and my thumb. So then, well, she's not supposed to. And then I turn. Feet line up with the eyes. Run your finger down and line up with the feet. Pull up the tail. Set the ears. And then down is the turn. And then handling your rabbit. Scoop it back up. Cut. Turn. Pick it up. And just make sure everything's tucked before you even step back. So everything's tucked. Now judge can say, okay, go ahead and take your finger from the table.
First call, that's 115, do your showmanship. First call, that's 115, do your showmanship.
Ears first. Now examining. Turn it back towards this way. Eyes. Ear base. Ear base. Inside of the ear. Let your rabbit over. And if your rabbit doesn't cooperate like this, don't take it out on the rabbit. Things happen. Sometimes the rabbits are just having a bad day. Nose. Teeth. Checking the chin. Feet. Pull them up and stretch them out. And then now is the time I would probably